Hello friends, and welcome back to Mama Om. I'd like to start off by saying thank you so very much for all of your support on my first video, from the thumbs up to sharing to subscribing to my channel and everything in between. It is greatly appreciated. On today's video, I'm going to share with you our experience of traveling with two toddlers, my top 3 tips for keeping me sane on a travel day that was supposed to be 12 hours but ended up being 28 hours. So we did book a red-eye flight, knowing very well the risks that we were taking flying with 2 small children. It could have either went very well or very not so well. Ideally, we were going to leave Edmonton, Alberta around 6 p.m. on Sunday night and finally land in Guadalajara around 8 or 9 a.m. Monday morning, where our family would be ready to pick us up and we'd have the next day or so to sleep off our travel day and readjust. So we did start off our travels on a good note. We got there with plenty of time. My mother-in-law and Pepe dropped us off at the airport. They were actually coming down to Mexico a few days after us, so there wasn't any hard goodbyes or emotions to overcome there. We said goodbye, we went through security, we got to our gate. We had so much time to spare, we thought we were going to get some supper. I think that was the only hiccup in that first flight. We almost missed the flight because we thought we could sneak in dinner, which ended up taking a little bit longer than we had planned. But we made it on that first airplane. The girls were so good that first 5 hours. So here I am, super excited that we are ahead of the game. We are on the right track. Things are going smoothly. We get off the airplane in Toronto Airport and head to our next gate, only to realize that everybody in line for that flight was headed to Hong Kong, China. At this point, the time boards had not been updated to the current flight schedule, and because it was 1:30 in the morning, nobody was available to give us a little bit of guidance as to who to even speak to regarding our next flight. So Jerry took the girls for a walk around the airport, and I sat myself down, plugged in my phone, and started an hour's worth of calls to the travel agency, the airline, and all these different transfer numbers to try to get us some answers. And so about 3 o'clock in the morning, the board had updated and it had told us that our Mexico City connecting flight had been delayed until 10 o'clock a.m. So right now we're sitting at about 3 a.m. We have about a 7-hour window. So perfect timing for tip number 3. We're gonna start with number 3 and make our way down to number 1 at the end of the video. So my third favorite travel tip to help save my sanity is food. I highly recommend packing some of your little's favorite snacks. We did get away with some of the pre-prepared snacks on our end just because we were flying with Lux under the age of 2. Airlines seem to be a little bit more lenient on the food and drink you pack for them. But this snack suggestion did not only come in handy at 3 a.m. in the airport when nothing was open, but also when Mom and Dad were getting a little bit hangry, a little bit of food in our system, and we were back to mindfully figuring out what the heck we were gonna do with all this time. Keep in mind that the kids are still wide awake at this point. Nobody has any interest in sleeping except for Mom and Dad. In the midst of all this, just as that airline desk is about to open, we get informed by that giant board in the front that our 10 a.m. flight has now been delayed once again to 2 p.m. Another 4 hours, you guys. At this point, it was in our best interest to get a little bit of shut-eye. That looked like us sleeping on the hotel couches in the lobby with Luna sleeping in the stroller and Luxie sleeping in the AuraLeaf ring sling. This brings me to tip number 2. Do your very best to pack a mindfully minimalistic carry-on bag. Or 2. Or 3. This is going to help you out tremendously with organization, especially if you have layovers, making sure you didn't forget anything on the plane. And personally, my top 3 items would have to be Number one, hands down, the AuraLeaf ring sling. Lex is 2 years old and still is baby born every single day. It has been a lifesaver, especially in that crazy 28 hours. One of the girls' favorite pastimes is art, so we did purchase this adorable little travel coloring set from Start Handmade. I'll link them down here because they were great. Lastly, as kind of bulky and inconvenient as they were to shove into our carry-ons, we did pack 2 fuzzy blankets for the girls. Airplanes can get quite chilly, especially in those overnight flights, and airplanes don't always offer the option for a blanket. So that came in handy when the girls actually claimed those airline blankets for themselves and Mama was left freezing cold. So fast forward once more, we made sure our luggage was going to get to Guadalajara when we landed there as well, and we were ready to board our 2 p.m. flight. We made it from Toronto, meeting, may I add, quite a few amazing individuals in the Toronto airport. Never pass up an opportunity to have a good conversation. So we made it onto our flight. We got to Mexico City only to have to sprint across the Mexico City airport, trying to find where our gate was. I am ever so grateful that that was the shortest of the 3 flights, as it was hands down the most uncomfortable flight. By 9:00 p.m. we got off of the plane. We were the first ones to get our luggage, and family was awaiting to pick us up and take us home to get some sleep. So my number 1 tip for traveling with toddlers and trying to save your sanity is to create a visual of your ideal travel day. Have it written down for you to see the times you're flying, the layovers, when you'll have time to eat, and be 150% prepared to burn it, rip it up, and throw it out the window. Because even though we can spend all this time pre-planning and preparing ourselves for these unexpected speed bumps, there is nothing, you guys, that could have prepared me for 14 unexpected hours in the Toronto airport overnight with my kids. If our experiences resonate with you, if you'd like to follow along on our journey as we moved from Canada down to Guadalajara, Mexico, please hit that subscribe button to follow along on our upcoming adventures. Hit the thumbs up if you liked my video, and any comments you can leave down in the comment box below. Thank you so much, you guys, and I will talk to you next Monday.